Well, here we are, we're on the boat. And if you were to look at the videos that I'm putting up here without a little explanation, you might think I bought a lemon. That's not at all the case, and I'll explain. There's a few things that the survey didn't catch or that we weren't too worried about, and I'm going to cover a couple of those now and give you a little explanation and bring you up to speed on what we've done about them. So let's do that. Okay, so the stereo. The boat had a stereo on it. That's not the kind of thing a surveyor goes, well, let's make sure that the stereo is performing to the appropriate high fidelity level that you prefer. So it was pretty old, had some issues. I've actually worked that all over, and I'll cut in a couple of chunks of me doing that here. Not a mission critical system, obviously, but pretty important. I like my music. So we fixed up the stereo. I have installed some Philips Hue lighting behind me here. You see the corner is kind of lit up there. I've got lights under this area here on the sides. I've got lights down in the galley on the sides. I've got lights back in the master cabin that I've put up, and some on the actual aft deck back there. So when I'm sitting back there having a cocktail at night, I'll be able to set the mood. So lighting, I've worked over pretty well. I had to put a new bilge pump down in the bottom. Now the bilge pump is something I would think you would think that the surveyor should have found, correct? Well, here's the deal. There's a switch here on the dash that says bilge pump. And then there's this additional switch right here that has auto and manual. So if you flip that to manual, there is a forward bilge pump up there, and it turns on and it discharges over the side. That's all good. Technically speaking, that bilge pump worked. However, there was no float switch attached to it. I can't explain that. There was no float switch. So the auto portion of that did not work. I have not really been able to get at that one because it's under the forward holding tank and the water tank, and it's down there in a sketchy little place that smells bad. It's scary to put your hands down in. So I have not put my hand down in there. What I have done is I've put a new bilge pump back towards the back end of the open part of the bilge down there with a float switch that works properly. While I was at it, I found that the forward head is set up for a shower that just was draining down into the bilge, and I didn't really like that idea. Not that anybody has ever showered in there or maybe ever will shower in there, but we'll see. I mean, maybe somebody's in there one day just washing off their feet or something. You buy these little boxes that have a bilge pump inside of them, and that way you can have the hose from that shower discharge go right into that box and then be discharged over the side. That's what the aft shower has right now. So I fixed that. That's about, and the anchor windlass. So the anchor windlass, the owner said it would only retrieve the anchor, it would not lower it. So I started working on that, try to figure out what was up with it. In fact, I was all ready to head out for my first kind of trip in the boat, and the anchor windlass would not work. It would just trip the breaker. It would try to turn and it would trip the breaker every time I tried to work on it. So I have got a whole thing going on the anchor windlass. So I think I've got plenty of kind of details of that, and that project isn't done yet. So I'll kind of jump over that for now. But those are some of the things that we found. All right, we are tearing into the stereo. It's funny, in the ad for this boat, it was all kind of shaped around, hey, buy this boat. It's like having a condo in Seattle for, a fraction of the price. But then one of the paragraphs on the thing specifically said, entertain your friends with this great stereo that's got 4 different zones and 2 big subwoofers and all that kind of thing. And then I get on here and it really didn't work. Oh, Oh my gosh, what a rat's nest this cabling is. Now, it turns out there was 3 big amplifiers screwed to the underside of the top deck up there. So there was a board mounted there with all these amps on it. But as I started peeling into this project, little by little, it kept getting bigger and bigger. After my first initial professional assessments of what I had, I decided to go ahead and get the credit card out and ordered up one of these new Garmin Fusion stereos. This thing has the NEMA 2000 interface, I think that's what it is, so I can hook it into the touchscreen multifunction display up on the bridge and, you know, turn it up and turn it down, and it's got these little remote controls that you can place around the boat that are Bluetooth devices. So kind of an upgrade to the stereo here is underway. Now, since I was going to wind up with fewer components up in that overhead panels, in these overhead panels, I took them back to Salt Lake and I pulled out the speakers. The speakers that were indoors appeared to be fine. So I undid those, took them out, and I'm basically going to do some new panels with no holes cut in them, so I can cut my holes new and fresh and so forth, and line up 3 brand new panels. I'll stain them and you know, just have fewer holes and kind of have everything resituated here. This little tweeter speaker just about stumped me. Man, I could not figure out how to get that thing out of there. I wound up kind of backing the screws out from the backside by holding on to them with a pair of vice grips, but then once I got it all apart, then I could figure out that you had to kind of twist the speaker a quarter of a turn and then it would pop out and then you could get to the screws from the front. But for a little bit there, boy, that thing had me scratching my head. Now, the wood panels that I got to replace the old ones are a little bit thicker than the new ones. So I went back over to Home Depot and I rented a door plane. So this is a planer that is designed to trim a door, the edge of the door, but it's about 3 inches wide. And I thought, well, okay, I gotta basically plane these panels down. I think I had to take a couple of 1/8 of an inch or something like that off of them. So I thought, well, this will probably work okay. We'll see how it goes. Well, as it turns out, this process did not work too bad after all. It took me a few passes across each board to get it down really close to that original thickness, but the plane worked okay, made a ton of shavings, but yeah, it worked all right. So I shaved everything down and then put the planer back in the box and took it back to Home Depot. Now, from some other experiences drilling great big holes like this, I have a few things that I can teach you about drilling great big holes. One is when that big drill first touches your surface, you better have a firm grip on the drill and you better be making sure you're going in nice and straight. You want that entire ring of that big hole saw to touch the surface uniformly. If you're tilted to one side or the other, even a little bit, you'll hook that blade into the wood and that thing will start flipping around and knock you upside the head. And that's the voice of experience talking. All right, so then we fast forward a day or two and we're back up in Seattle. And I've got my little carpenter's table set up on the back deck of the boat here, and I'm just cutting out the hole for the actual head unit for the stereo to go into. Now already, while there's still a fair amount of wiring that makes this whole thing come together, you can at least see that I'm down to substantially less than about 12 miles of that old gooey yellow wiring that was in there before. And part of the problem with that wiring was when it had been put in there initially, it had a lot of electrician's tape wrapped around it in various places. And electrician's tape, or some brands of it, over time seems like the sticky stuff off the tape just turns to black goo and makes a big old sticky mess. So I took all those old cables out and threw them away and got new RCA quick connect cables and plugged everything in fresh and new, and was able to start this thing up. Now, are all my problems gone? Not quite, as it turns out. Yeah, so I soon discovered after I got a new head unit there that there was something wrong with these amplifiers. I don't know if they were just too old. They would play for a little while, but after they started to warm up a little bit, then they would start to crackle and pop and snap and make all kinds of noises come out of the speakers. So in for a penny, in for a pound, right? I decided to scrap the entire old system, and I bought 2 new amps from Garmin that are mated up to the head unit. The smaller of the 2 amps is going to power the subwoofers, and the bigger of the amps is going to power the rest of my 4 zones. And we're just going to go all brand new. All right, well, hey, I'm back, and I'm just going to wrap this up. I know this is going to be a little bit of a time warp because in the last time you saw me, I was working here on the boat in shorts and a t-shirt. And as I'm wrapping this up today, I am decidedly not in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm in a sweatshirt, and it's currently 63 degrees inside and about 16 outside, and the wind's blowing quite crazy. But I did just want to show you how things turned out up here. So I still have intention to put another radio to the same as what's up top in here, but I did keep my original speakers. I've got the Garmin head unit in here. Works quite well. I'm able to control it both from my phone and from the iPad. There's the controls for the different zones. So I've got it divided up by the saloon, the aft deck, the cabin, and the flybridge. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. I did hook the NEMA 2000. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, somebody correct me. But I did hook that up to our multifunction display up on the bridge. So now you can have in a window the controls for the stereo. So you can turn it up, turn it down, pause it, all that kind of stuff from up there as well. So that's going to wrap up the stereo thing. Next time I'm down in the bilge, I'll take the camera down with me and give you a shot of the bilge pump I put in. No, I won't. You don't care. It's a bilge pump, okay? They're not sexy like a head unit on a new stereo. But I'm going to wrap this up and send it on its merry way up into the YouTube cloud. And next time you see me, hopefully I won't be frozen up like a popsicle up here in the Pacific Northwest as we live through this really, really cold snap.